Oh, I'd like to welcome you all here today. We're going to be starting. Wanted to make sure that everybody who had pre-registered was in the room, and that's why we're starting a few minutes late, so I hope you'll bear with us. But you will not miss anything. We will give every speaker their full time to speak to you and provide all the wonderful information that they have for you today. My name is Audrey Philpott, and we will be starting in about 3 minutes. So bear with us. We'll be getting going very soon. And thank you so much for being here today. Hello, yes. Okay, very good. Hi there. We're about to get started. And I want to welcome, my name is Audrey Philpott, and I want to welcome you all here today to the 3rd annual Conscious Business Symposium of the Conscious Life Expo. And let me tell you just a little bit about, I'm the person who put this event together. And I am just so pleased to have the presenters who've come here to speak with you today, because I think they represent the cream of the crop. They represent some of the best people I have heard speak, have worked with over the years. And so I'm very pleased to have them here today to speak with you and to really let you know how to really make your business more successful, more profitable, more engaging of what really makes you tick, your passion, and more conscious. And what I mean by conscious is this. I believe that there's no business growth without personal growth. And I think that being an entrepreneur and a small business person is one of the best ways to really develop yourself. You know, I know every time I have to overcome an obstacle, I have to reach inside of myself. And I have to deal with the fears and the concerns and the concepts that I have that stop me from moving forward. Because really the obstacles exist inside of us, don't they? So every time I have to grow as a business person, then I am also becoming more aware, more conscious, more aware of myself, and more aware of the gifts that I have, and hopefully more appreciative of the divine aspects of being here on this planet and being able to provide a service to people. So I would like to introduce you right now to our host for this Conscious Business Symposium, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Monique Guild, and I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't read without them. I'm over 40, in case you haven't guessed. So Monique Guild is a business intuitive who helps people define and attain their business goals. In her no-nonsense style, Monique evaluates your business, sees and pinpoints blocks, identifies actions that change your business future, thereby enabling you to prosper. Now, what I want to tell you is that Monique has done this for us here at the Conscious Business Symposium and at the Expo. As you may have noticed, there are picketers outside, there are protesters, there are people involved with the union dealing with the living wage issue. This is something added to this event today that we're going to be talking about at 7 o'clock tonight if you want to stay. We will be dealing with this, how to deal with social justice issues from a conscious business perspective. And I want to thank you all for making it into this room today. It means a lot. And Monique is a person who really supported me in holding the vision, overcoming the obstacles, and adding this element to the Conscious Business Symposium so that we can address this. Not put our heads in the sand, but address it. So I want to just tell you a little bit more about Monique, but I wanted to give her that acknowledgement because she really has been right next to me every step of the way in putting this together. So let's have a little round of applause for Monique. A little bit more about Monique. She's a very talented woman. She's worked at the Showtime networks in the marketing division. Plain Enterprises, Playboy Entertainment, Great Expectations, and she was the National Director of Success Stories, placing clients on TV shows such as Oprah Winfrey. And she's worked with director Mark Travis, to name a few. She's also been featured in the LA Times, NBC, and numerous radio talk shows nationally. So let's have a big round of applause for Monique. Hello.
In and out a little bit. That's okay. I can speak loudly if this goes in and out. So you guys, thanks so much for being here today. It's really great that everybody came and got through the line outside, and we're all sitting here. And this is, I have to really thank Audrey, though. I mean, you are such an amazing person, and she stays so positive, and the fact that you've invented this entire thing is just amazing. So thank you for doing all this for us. I really, thank you so much. She really is an incredible human being. If you get a chance to talk to her later on, she'll really just light up your life. So I can't say enough about you, so thank you. It's a mutual admiration club going here, so there we have it. But what I'd like to do is introduce our first amazing, amazing speaker. Her name is Eli Davidson, and she has been seen on the Today Show. She's a nationally recognized business coach, speaker, and author of Funky to Fabulous. She's appeared on national television and radio. Her are Emmy, Grammy, and Golden Globe winners. She also coaches some of the top business owners in America, including one of the founders of FedEx. So I'd like to welcome Eli and come on up here and take the mic.
So much, Monique. So my initial claim to fame was that I built a company with $17 and a glue gun. So I started bottom. Let's hear it for glue guns. Yeah. And I'm fortunate because I built the company to $1.5 million in sales, and I sold fashion and accessories, and I still don't know how to operate a sewing machine. So if Spirit didn't do it, I don't know how it got done. So is it all right if we have a little fun today? Yes. Yes. Hallelujah. So who here has more do than time to do it? Oh yeah, me too. So because everybody in the room is very, very busy, I'm not going to speak to you today. All right, I am not going to speak to you. Instead of speaking to you, let's use our time together to take today's very limited time and to use it as your own personal session. So instead of my talking, what we'll do is use this to look at what's going on in your life. So does everybody have handouts that the beautiful Terry and Aaron gave? So there should be handouts on your, everybody got a handout? All right. All right, so I think we've got one more. We need one more in the front row. So we need one more in the front row, two more in the front row. Fantastic. So while we're rustling around looking for papers, I'm going to ask you the really tough questions that people pay me huge amounts of money to coach them. Okay? Ready? Question number one. What's keeping you up at night? Ooh, ouch. Ouch. What's keeping you up at night? What you'll see is that area of biggest challenge is the area that if you can even make a tiny bit of movement is going to provide the greatest growth in your life. So, what's keeping you up at night? Now, does everybody have something? No? So that's okay. So all of life's activities really fall into 4 categories: health, relationship, money, and career. So if you look at all those areas of your life, there's probably at least one that's not working so well. So just if something isn't as specific as you'd like, just work with that one area. All right, so everybody got the tough question? What's keeping you up at night? Question number 2, how is that affecting the rest of your life? So question number 2, how is that affecting the rest of your life? So if your career is a challenge, are you so fed up with that dead-end job or all the angst you're going through as being an entrepreneur that you are really crabby in your relationships? So is that career problem affecting your relationships? Or in the example of health, is your health so bad that it's affecting all the other areas in your life? Or what about the problem that plagued me most of my young adult life, M-O-N-E-Y? And does having a lack of funds pervade the other areas of your life? So question number 2, how is that affecting the rest of your life? Got it? Now number 3, the question a lot of us forget to ask. What do you want instead? What do you really want instead? All right, so you've got the 3 questions. What's keeping you up at night? How is that affecting the rest of your life? And what do you want instead? So are we ready for the good news? Ready for the good news? Hallelujah. If you know how to drive a car, you have every single skill you need to transform your life, grow your business, and go from funky to fabulous. All right. Hey, and now, hallelujah. We got it. All right. Audrey. Thank you, Audrey. I like to high five people. That gets a high five. So, you get in your car and car. Now, the first thing you look at your car, you see that your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror. Eli, we did not cross picket lines and pay $55 for that kind of information. We know our windshield's bigger than our rearview mirror. But imagine how far would you get if you got in your car today and were driving to the Conscious Life Expo, but you spent the entire drive looking in your rearview mirror? How far would you get? Not too far. Thank you, Audrey. But don't many of us spend a lot of our lives looking at all the bad stuff in the past? Instead of looking at what we want and what we want to create, we look at all the bad stuff in the past. So I can't help it. I just finished a book that an Oprah producer and 5 New York Times bestselling authors have endorsed, and I have to read this part. I can't help it. Is it okay if I read a little part? Because it's a part that is about me doing my rearview mirror thinking. And it just always kind of makes me laugh. And Lord knows I read this about 700,000 times while I wrote it. Splat. The memories of my ex-husband are dripping down my new boyfriend's face. All he did was forget to open my car door for me. It doesn't take a lot for my mind to just dive into the dumpster and find something bad wrong. The man of my dreams obviously cherishes and adores me, so of course the next step is he opens my car door. But he didn't open my car door. That means he must be a 2-timing weasel like my ex-husband. Aha, the car door is evidence. Sorry, this next sentence. Car door plus penis person equals disaster. Ah! He must have another woman. That's why he can't remember to open the car door. That's it. She's in the trunk. He's cut her up into little pieces. I must break up with him immediately. Right now. Help! Get me out of the car. Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah. So guys, don't you hate it when we women do that kind of crazy thing? It's just cruel. But we all do it. We all have that rear view mirror thinking. And so I wrote a little note to myself that I published in the book that said, don't let your past ruin your now. Hello. So let's have somebody come up and demonstrate the power of rear view mirror thinking. Somebody I don't know, come on. Lennon, Tim, would you like to come on up here? Come on, baby. Come on. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm picking on him. Woohoo! Yeah. Woohoo! So Tim, what I'd like you to do is
Great to see all of you.
all right. So I call looking at the past at the things that don't work rear view mirror thinking. So we're going to demonstrate with Tim, and then we're all going to play a game. So not at all. So what I want you to do, Tim, probably many of you have seen this, but there may be some woo-woo virgins that haven't. So Tim, hold your arm out and hold strong and say your name. Oh, he is a strong guy. Now I want you to think of something that you absolutely know not to do. Like for me, it's to eat 6 cupcakes at the bakery around my house. All right, ready? Think of something you know not to do. Woo! Now just say your name. Oh, did you notice a difference? Awesome. Thank you, Tim. All right. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, some of you may have seen this before, and some of you may have not. But now what I'd like you to do is to get into teams of 2 and do this amongst ourselves. So everybody's going to get into teams of 2. Let's do that because we have very limited time. And it's time to have a little fun so that you have your own turnaround technique. Everybody's going to get teams of 2, and we're going to do the long hair, short hair team. Long hair, short hair. So the person with the longest hair, she does it all the time. Miss Platinum in the front row does it all the time. She's not going to do it for me. Come on. She'll do it with somebody. Come on, just be a trooper. All right, so long hair people, the long hair people, hold your arms out. Long hair people. Arms out. Now, short hair people, you're going to test near their wrist and just press down. So long hair people, you say your name, and short hair people just press down. Beautiful. Now I want you to see yourself doing something you just know not to do, like me eating all those cupcakes. All right. Boom. Now go back and long hair people. Long hair people, now I want you to hold your arm out and just hold strong. Yes, amazing. So round of applause for the long hair people. Okay, now short hair people, it's your turn. Short hair people, hold your arm out. Say your name, and long hair people push down. Now, short hair people, I want you to think of that bad thing like me eating all those cupcakes that you just know not to do. Oh my goodness. Now go back and hold your arm out and just hold strong. Brilliant. All right, everybody give yourself a round of applause. Woohoo! So now why does that work? I did far more scientific research for this book than any blonde that loves shoes as much as I do should need to do. Thank you, because it's really all about the shoes. So there are 12 pages of scientific references at the end of this book. What they've discovered, they have something called a PET scan now that measures the levels of oxygen in the brain. And what they discovered is that when you see negative pictures, your brain is getting less oxygen. That's why your arm automatically goes down. So when I'm thinking all those bad thoughts about my ex-husband, I have less oxygen and less productivity brain and in my whole body. So one of the secrets that I'm out there giving the world are these, they're called turnaround techniques, because you see the power that negative thinking has. And in your car, you need to be able to grab the steering wheel. So you just saw that you don't want to drive around looking in your rearview mirror, but you do, as an entrepreneur, need to keep your hands on your steering and really direct yourself towards what you want more of every day. I mean, we'd all love to be able to just think positive thoughts and live in Ojai and, you know, eat vegan, but who really can do that? Not me. I mean, I get pissed off driving in traffic, and I'm dating, you know, so it's even worse. So, so we have to, one of this is to give yourself ways to get back on track, to be able to turn off your stress, to give yourself a tool to grab your steering wheel. So because you guys are very advanced, what I'd like to show you is something kind of dramatic, and it's my signature turnaround technique that I've been on television with Oscar nominee Sally Kirkland, and let me tell you, she got dramatic with this. So strangely enough, this technique, my signature, is called Funky to Fabulous. Gee, isn't that amazing? So what I'd like you guys to do is to think about that thing that is keeping you up at night. Everybody have that problem that's keeping you up at night? Yes? So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a chance to grab the steering wheel even in the midst of that problem. Okay? So everybody feet on the floor, and we'll take a moment. So I want you to start thinking about that problem. Start thinking about that problem. Now, if I was walking in the lobby of this hotel and I was walking through the lobby like this, do you think I was feeling funky or fabulous? Fabulous, yes, because I got these new shoes and they're not hurting my feet yet. Hallelujah. Now, if I was walking through the lobby like this, how do you think I feel? Funky, yes. So our bodies and our minds are connected. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the power of the body-mind connection right now. So what I'd like you guys to do is, are you willing to have some fun here? Fantastic! So what I'd like you to do is to think about that funky thing and assume the funky posture. So funky posture is head down, shoulders slumping, looking at your lap, and now, for once in your life, you get to vent about it. And I'm going to vent about that guy that doesn't call me and wants a date on Friday night. Okay, ready? So we're going to have 5 vents. 5 times we're going to say the word funky. Funky, funky, funky. And I'm going to say it with you probably even more crazy than any of the rest of you. Hopefully somebody, maybe John Lennon here, can beat me. So ready? We're going to say funky 5 times like you really mean it. Ready? Funky. Come on, you do better than that. Funky. Come on. Funky. 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 Now stand up, arms in the air like the Y of the YMCA, and say 5 times like you mean it. Fabulous. 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 Woohoo! Now give yourself a round of applause. Woo! So do you feel better? Yeah, you feel better. That's what we call a turnaround technique. That's a neuro-linguistic pattern interrupt. So you basically just experience the power of grabbing the steering wheel. So even in the midst of having a problem, you can grab the steering wheel and redirect yourself. And if you'll notice, it took under a minute. So anytime during the day that you're bothered by a problem client, you have an aging parent, you know, any of the problems that occur, you have a turnaround technique. Now, how many folks here work in offices? Oh, yes. I was just speaking in front of a bank on Wednesday. So, you know, as much as the COO of this huge bank liked the exercise, for some reason, his employees walking around the bank going, Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous was not something that he wanted me to do. So we have a way to use the same technique, but to customize it so that people won't be coming to you and going, so you went to that Eli Davidson seminar, didn't you? So what we'll do is we're going to give you a technique that you can use anytime, any place. It's office friendly. So what I want to do is to go back to that thing that's keeping you up at night. Hate to do it, but this will be the last time. Ready? Everybody have it? Okay, now stand up and walk around the room and think the word, don't say it out loud, fabulous, 25 times, and then come back to your chair. People are getting some exercise too. This is great. So come back to your chair. Now, one of the reasons that this is so important to do this technique is that studies just came out that we are 20% more sedentary than we were just 20 years ago. We used to have fax machines. We used to get up and turn off the television, etc. So these are techniques that you can, man, this microphone is funky. Funky, funky, funky. So fabulous, 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 fabulous. So so do you feel different now that you sit down? You feel a little better. So this is a technique you can use anytime, any day. So for the rest of your lives, you have a gift. You have something that you can turn off the stress, grab the steering wheel of your life, and refocus on more of what you want. So because this is a business expo, well, and because this is what I get paid to do, now I'm going to do my short commercial break. So I am a speaker and coach. I come into people's companies and associations. I have two wonderful helpers in the back, Erin and Terry. So if you have an association or group, bring me in. I'm also a private coach. I do coach some of the most successful business owners in the country, which is such an honor, and love to work with any of you. We work with two levels of business owners, successful business owners, and I charge a lot of money. I charge $1,250 a month. And then for groups, we give those people that are starting out, because believe me, I started out with a glue gun, $1,000 discount. So in our group, and I think we've got 6 slots left for our next group coaching, it's $260 a month. Boom, there was the commercial break. Fantastic, done. So please see us in the back. Oh, right, and I'd love to coach everybody, but I can't, so I wrote a handy dandy book, $24.95, and love to sign them for you guys. And Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas just gave 76 last week to their best friends at Sundance, which is like, oh my God, that's so cool. So wouldn't it be amazing if you harnessed the power to direct yourself to go from funky to fabulous? What could you really produce? So there's a guy that I went to college on the East Coast, a little place called Sarah Lawrence. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that college. There was a guy there who loved cartoons. And when he got out of college, he was dead set to get into television. So the first day, Scott was out pounding the pavement, and there he was walking across Fifth Avenue, and his vision went milky, just went very, very cloudy. And he thought, oh man, I am going to lay off the tequila. So he laid off the hooch for a few days, and he was walking across Madison a few days later, and it happened again. It's like, oh no, I'm going to have to go get glasses. It's going to make it tough to be a ladies' man, but I'm going to do it anyway. So Scott went into the eye doctor, and the exam just took so long, and he was waiting waiting and waiting, and finally the doctor came in, and he closed the door behind him. And he said, I am so sorry to tell you, you have a very rare disease, and you will be legally blind in just a couple months. Scott went into shock. He was a 24-year-old man, and his life was just ripped away from him. He spent several days just speechless and realized that he needed to go pick up his life. I mean, he was really at the bottom of feeling funky and looking at his life having passed him by. But Scott was fortunate in some senses that he had a therapist, a physical therapist, that helped him to learn to walk and to, and to cook. And this woman said, don't give up. How dare you think your life is over? Your world isn't black. You can still make out colors. You go make something of yourself. And for some reason, Scott was in a place where he could hear that. And he started to dive deeper. He started to come into that awareness of who he was past his vision. And he connected with the magnificence or the fabulous inside him past his vision. And the day that he crossed Fifth Avenue again as a blind man, he realized he could do anything. If he could overcome being blind, he could do anything. And as crazy as it sounds, he decided, what the heck? I'm going to go get a job in television. Hello. So he wandered in to ABC. And what do you think they said? No, thank you. He wandered into CBS. What do you think they said? No, thank you. NBC. No, thank you. So like many of us entrepreneurs, he had to keep going and overcome all those no's. And he did. He just kept at it. He kept plugging at it. And impossible as it may sound, Scott got a job in television. Now, the television network that hired him was a tiny little startup. It had a grand total of 12 people working at this little network. So that would be sort of like this little section was the entire staff of the network. But he was thrilled. He was working in TV. And because he had connected to that fabulous place inside, that inner knowing, he could actually create ideas for really remarkable television. And strange and impossible as it may seem, he rose through the ranks of those 12 people and became creative director of that network and built that company from 12 people into the behemoth network Nickelodeon is today. Yeah. That's the power of fabulous. That's the power of grabbing your steering wheel and taking your life from funky to fabulous, one choice at a time. And you do have that power. So, So there's one other person that I want to talk about that used what we're talking about. And I know in the program we talked about some of the secrets that the secret wasn't able to give you. One of them is turnaround techniques that we've just done of like, how do you actually get yourself back into a good place? So the second thing that we'll just finish up here is what I call your GPS system. Everybody know what a GPS system is? I believe that each one of us has a greater perspective support. Each one of us has that global positioning system, that greater perspective support within them. And this story that I'll finish up with, to me, really demonstrates it. And it's a dear friend of mine named Arnold, So Arna loved taking pictures. The moment she got her hands on a Polaroid slinger, her life was better. She loved to be able to capture images. And because she was so good at capturing images, she sent in a little clip, and her life was made better because, yes, she got to be an intern at the local TV station. She was walking on air until her first day of work, and where she realized, oh my gosh, all I do is make coffee. So I don't know has anybody here ever been the bottom of the barrel? I have. I went to Sarah Lawrence and I grew up in Bucyrus, Kansas. I know what it's like to be at the bottom of the barrel. So there she was every day. She'd sit her little brown plastic tray down, open up her milk, and just eat lunch by herself because she felt like such a loser. And one day, a woman sat down and plonked her tray right next to Arna. But it was another loser. This woman had just been demoted from being an on-air newscaster because she was too fat and she was too ugly. So now Arna was only 16 years old. Her life was just beginning. Now this woman was too fat and too ugly. Her career was over. But that didn't seem to get to her. Every day she'd plonk down her brown tray and go, it's going to be a great day. The world is our oyster. And every day this woman sat down and just chose fabulous again and again and again, even though her career was over. That woman that sat next to my friend every day for lunch was a little lady named Oprah Winfrey. So every day she made the choice to go from funky to fabulous. Every minute you have that choice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I've got lots of time for questions, and I love, love, love questions. So bring them on. That's my best part, are questions. Let's see, Eli, where'd you get those great shoes? Well, you know, I'm living large for less, so no. Who's got a question? I know somebody's got a question. Ah, yes, thanks. So you launched your internet store last year. Brilliant. So you, okay, Brilliant. How do you start getting help with building your business, or? Oh, there is no, okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You'll notice there are two ladies back there helping. Two ladies. Two amazing women. Amazing women. And I really believe that we all suck at certain things. I suck at organization. I am lucky that I'm can get in my car practically. It's not that bad, but I'm so busy right now. I've never been busier. I mean, I did 3 speeches this week. We're doing media stuff. A lot of stuff is going on. So 2 years ago, I was pretty organized. Now, my assistants, they go, do not let her touch a piece of paper. It'll be gone. We don't know where it'll go. It's gone. So there's a whole new field of people that can help you. And what I suggest for any entrepreneur is take the jobs that you hate the most and suck the worst at and just don't do them. And I think there are some amazing, there's some probably great people in the room that are great at doing what you're not good at. There are things like Craigslist that, but always do your due diligence. Make sure. I got an amazing assistant from Craigslist, and I got a stinker too. So you really have to do your due diligence. But any job that isn't bringing you joy and bringing you cash, don't do it. Anybody else? Thank you, and thank you. Yeah. In the beginning, I charged zero. I mean, yeah, and my story is I built the company and then I lost everything. So I went from having 23 employees to having $88,000 of credit card debt, and I couldn't even afford a car payment. And, you know, I lost my marriage and my health that year too. So, no, I was living in a pool house, driving a banged up Honda. So I went to a school called the University of Santa Monica, and I didn't know how I'd afford the first month, but I did, and I got a master's degree in spiritual psychology. And I mean, I had really seen that what I was doing obviously wasn't working. And so I used their tools to get out of debt and more than triple well, actually I quadrupled my income. And then people started going, well, you used to drive that really disgusting looking Honda, and now you drive a Mercedes and you live in a really nice house. What did you do? And so I coached people for over a year for free. And then someone doubled her income, actually an editor in New York, doubled her income in 6 months and sent an email to 70 friends. And then, you know, the thing is, it's not just me. My coaching clients, there's something in the water. I don't know. Buy the book. I just feel like, thank you, God. And the other piece that I believe is that I ask for spiritual assistance all the time. Do something. I'm actually doing a workshop on the 24th. It's a whole day workshop called God's the Kind of Guy You Can Trust. So it's an all-day workshop just all about, because, I mean, I built a design business. I don't freaking know how to sew. You know, I then went on to do a consulting business with doctors, and I could, you know, I didn't have a clue about that either. But God knows, Spirit knows, the universe knows, and when we tap into that deeper wisdom, we get really smart. I mean, Jack Canfield emailed me personally that this is a fabulously written book. You know, I mean, it is a really well-written book, and I've never had a writing class. So, you know, God's the kind of guy you can trust. And yes. No, God, I said it. Give me some love there, baby. Oh yeah, I'm in overwhelm. And there's a chapter of the book called Perfectionitis, which I believe is one of the most rampant epidemics we have in America today. We're working so hard to be perfect that we take on too much. We don't give ourselves enough time, and we don't give ourselves enough breathing space, and we don't tell ourselves, good job, job well done, take a break. And this is something that I admit that I struggle with, that I literally have a chapter here of like perfectionitis. Are you trying to be perfect? Are you trying to please somebody instead of yourself? I discovered it was probably the most painful chapter for me to write, because I had to really look at why was I doing that to myself. And it typically, in the studies that I did, comes from when we have low self-esteem and that we think we're going to get approval from everybody else instead of going, you know what? I'm good enough as I am, and I'm just going to get done what I get done. So, and please come back and see me. I'll be back at the back of the room. I'd love to speak to each one of you, and just thank you so much.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great job. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have a 15-minute break. We will be starting back here promptly again at 2:15. And if you'd like to meet with Eli in the back of the room and ask her any more questions, She'd love to answer them for you. And so I'll see you back here, I would say about 2:12. And then we'll get going right at 2:15 again. Thanks so much.